This episode of The Modern Rogue produced in partnership with our friends over at LastPass.
LastPass.com.
God damn it. I could say a website.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
LastPass. Website.
Thank you, LastPass.
Where did the name phishing come from?
Okay, so you're fishing for information.
Sure.
You're trying to lure it out, right? But the phone freaks.
PhREAK. So there already was phreaking, which was using the telecommunications network for things that wasn't intended to do, like draw power, get free phone calls, and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
And so when phishing started to become a thing in the mid-90s, the early to mid-90s, they just put the P on there. And it's not the best explanation. I didn't,
It's a coronation. And now, let's put the P on it.
We grant you with these consonants.
The boys go fishing.
All right, Murphy, what is phishing?
Okay, phishing is when someone uses some sort of electronic communication to scam you out of sensitive information like money or access or something like that, passwords, or they're trying to get you to install malware.
So we've previously talked about 419 scams, and that's a case where you start with a blank slate and you establish a relationship with someone and then you use that to make money off of them. Phishing is the reverse. You take the trust that somebody has, whether it's with a bank, with another person, with any other entity, and you act as though you are a party of that. It's essentially, I guess what hackers would call a man-in-the-middle attack, right? You are acting as an agent of Wells Fargo, even though you're not them.
Exactly. You are pretending to be something that you're not, or you've mocked up an email, or you've made that email look like it came from a trusted source.
So I would imagine that there are versions of this, I'm going to make all this up, going back hundreds of years in the letter writing days, you know, hey, I'm writing on behalf of King George.
Oh, sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But of course, we know it as an email scam.
There are a lot of different variants on it. It can show up as an email. You can get a text that looks like it's from your bank,
Yes.
or from Amazon or UPS or something like that. There are all sorts of different methods for people to get this trap set for you. Unlike the 419, this is someone saying, hey, you need to do this, and it's usually urgent. You need to do this really quickly. This is UPS, and you need to verify your account information.
Yeah, you know, there's a weird stigma associated with 419 scams where you feel like a big sucker because you trusted somebody and then they ended up screwing you out of money. Whereas, I don't know, I feel no guilt for the times that I've almost fallen for a phishing scam.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually had one where it was my bank. And they sent me an email. They said, hey, we've had a security breach. You need to do this right now and change all of this information.
By the way, classic hallmark of a con game is the moment you say, and that's why I need your money right now. That
Yes.
sense of urgency is an important element to this.
In all of my research, that was the flag that kept popping up, was them waving the flag saying, it's urgent, you have to do this now. So anytime there's a sense of urgency, you gotta slow it down and start looking for the other side.
So that social pressure is so incredibly strong. When somebody calls you and they're like, there's a problem, we have to fix it, your immediate thought is not usually, hey, I don't know who you are, I don't trust you, I don't know why you're calling me, I'm gonna hang up the phone and call my actual bank. But, spoiler alert, that's the answer. That's what you should be doing. Anytime anybody reaches to you, if you find yourself about to say out loud your credit card number or any kind of sensitive information, think to yourself, did I call them or did they call me?
Right.
If they called you, the answer is, I'm glad you told me about this, I will handle it, goodbye. And then that's it. Whether it's on the phone, whether it's on email.
They will send you something like, okay, you need to update your password for your bank, and they'll send you an email there. You'll click on that, and maybe you'll go to a fake bank website that looks just like it.
And maybe they'll even use social cues, like you type in your password, and it's like, oh, that's not your password. You want to try again? Yeah, okay. And they're like, oh, that's definitely it. 404, close up shop, run away.
Exactly. 1.5 million new phishing sites appear every month.
Sites. Yeah. So these are like franchises that popping up left and right.
Yeah. Essentially, $1.6 million is the average damage done to a mid-sized company.
Holy cow.
For a mid-sized company, that can put you out of business.
Yeah, sure,
right?
Especially for a small business like themodernrogue.com.
Don't have any ideas. 30% of all phishing emails are opened.
By definition, a phishing email is going to be something that looks like a regular correspondence that you have.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you would open it. It seems like this would be a prime target for scammers.
Yeah, and 12% of those 30% open the malicious links inside. So these are very successful.
So how do you know the difference between a real link and a fake one?
A lot of times you just look for misspellings.
Vi one agra.
Yeah, or bankofarnerica.com. If you see it written out, but if you're not paying attention, you think, sure, this is my bank's website.
Right.
I'm gonna log in. And once you put in your information, you're screwed.
So one of the most diabolical phishing attacks I'd read of recently was somebody who was at a bar, got a phone call about a problem from his bank, Wells Fargo at the time. Hey, we gotta verify that's you. I'm gonna send you a link. Sent a verification code over text, and the guy's like, yeah, okay, reports it, and then they keep on going. They're like, all right, we're fixing the problem, and they're like, oh, let me send you another verification code. He was like, sure, whatever. And he goes back to drinking, has a great time. It was only after he got home that he saw the emails that say, thank you for signing up for Zelle. Zelle's an easy way to transfer money. You just transferred $1,000 to person who's not authorized to have that money.
Yeah.
The fusion of it being over the phone, taking advantage of an established relationship, and it seeming like a low-stakes affair, oftentimes people who fall for phishing scams are just busy. They don't want to deal with the nonsense.
He was out drinking,
Yes.
and he just thought, oh, I gotta resolve this really quick.
I got to do the thing so I can get back to the beer.
It's important because they're telling me it's important.
Right.
And it's my bank, so why wouldn't it be important?
Of course.
Yeah, phishing attacks have been behind some of the biggest security breaches in recent history.
The Democratic emails, that was one.
Yeah, they convinced John Podesta, who worked under Hillary Clinton, to
Reveal his Gmail password, yeah.
Yeah, and he did. That's how all the DNC emails got leaked out into the world.
Yeah.
Also, the fappening. All of these people's nude pics. At first, everyone thought that it was a vulnerability in Apple's iCloud security, but it wasn't. They were all successful phishing attacks.
Yeah, so this is a case where they basically said, I forgot my password, do the reset thing, I'm definitely this person. We think of phishing attacks usually in terms of the consumer being the sucker who's on the hook, but in this case, it was Apple that was the sucker that was on the hook.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like, no, I'm definitely this famous person, and let's reset my password, and
That
also...
was probably a great smokescreen that
Sure.
bought them some more time. So there are some variations in phishing. There's your regular phishing, where they send out just a bunch of emails.
Essentially, you're thinking spam, right? You
Right.
send out 1 billion emails, all of them say Bank of America, somebody's gonna click on it, you're just playing the odds.
And apparently 30% of them get opened.
Sure.
But there's also spear phishing.
If I remember correctly, spear phishing is a highly targeted thing where you are not just casting a wide net, you are, I guess, spear phishing. You're very specifically, I'm going to write an email as this individual person, taking advantage of exactly this relationship in order to get the info I need.
Precisely. With spear phishing, the bad agent has used open source intelligence available on the internet to get everything they can about someone in a company.
So this would be stuff like Instagram accounts, Facebook, social media.
Everything you can find, or like, let's say that they're going to find out everything they can about the CEO of a company,
Right.
And find all of the email addresses associated with that company's domain, and so they can cast a wide net for them, and they'll spoof an email that looks like it's from the CEO that says, hey, come to this meeting, enter your Gmail.
So an example
information.
might be like Elon Musk probably has emailed Mark Zuckerberg at some point. So basically you're
Sure.
like, that's a known connection.
Yeah.
And then I'll just pretend to be one or the other and casually set up a thing to get them to reveal something or set up a financial boondoggle.
Exactly. You have used open source intelligence to find out everything about your target that you can.
So what is this laser phishing? Because that sounds awesome, for the record. That is my favorite Steam Vive game.
It's good, it's good. I'm waiting for couch co-op though. Laser phishing is where an AI takes all of that information and impersonates someone you know.
So we live in an age where AI bots are able to take, for example, in pornography, this whole deep fakes thing where it paints a face based on publicly available photos of prominent figures. That's essentially that in email form with the intent to defraud?
Or a chatbot.
Oh my God, so it can have a whole conversation. I've got, what, 90,000 tweets out there.
Yeah.
So it bot could figure out, this is the way Brian Brushwood tends
Yeah.
to talk, lots of exclamation points, always shouting. I'll just try talking like that and see who I can convince to be Brian.
Yeah, we're gonna have to develop
exactly
a
this.
Voight-Kampff test. Like
A
Blade
secret safe
Runner.
word.
Yes.
So it occurs to me, that's why Twitter started their verified program is because there were people pretending to be other famous people. That's a form of phishing, right? And in fact, the way I got verified was by telling all the fans, I was like, hey, do me a favor, guys. I want all of you to make fake Brian Brushwood accounts and don't just post whatever. And then I will loudly complain about all these fakes. If only I was verified.
That's funny. I actually got a, hey, verify your Twitter account email from Twitter. But I thought it was a phishing email, so I deleted it.
Oh my God, that's why you're not verified.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a confession to make.
Okay.
I was not good about passwords. And then we did the LastPass episode about passwords.
That changed everything.
Oh my God, I spent half a day changing every single one of my passwords
Yes.
as far back as I can find to make sure that they were long and unique and all the things that you're supposed to do for good hygiene.
And it's just so easy when you use LastPass.
Once you buy into the ecosystem, it really does take care of itself. Like, I never expect myself to remember my passwords. I know where all my stuff is very safely, securely put, and I go in and get the password and then I use it like a key, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just easy, but it's safer.
One of the best parts of that day was I knew that future Brian would remember none of these passwords, so I tried to make future Brian laugh with all the passwords that I made. It's been a fun, it's like hiding your own Easter eggs.
See, I just use the auto-generate thing where it's just a string of gibberish. You just right-click, populate, you're done.
And that extension on Chrome, at least, is fantastic. You just click on it and it takes you to the website, which can be a phishing protection. Let's say you get something from what looks like Bank of America. You just click on the extension and say, let me go to Bank of America. Ain't no way to mess that up. It's gonna take you to the actual site and give you the actual password to get in.
You're not falling into the trap. You're going around it and going to the real thing to see if it's legit.
The app is even better now with the facial recognition thing. You use Face ID to open it and you're like, yep, that's my password, then I'm good to go.
That is so simple. There's really no reason not to use it.
Look, man, you know you should have long, secure passwords. You know you should be using a password manager. So do yourself a favor, click on that link, make us look good, and use LastPass.
It's easy, it's affordable, and it makes you safer. There's no reason not to do it. LastPass.
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 LastPass. LastPass.
Yes, LastPass.
LastPass.
All right, so how do you spot a phishing attack? What are the clues you look for?
The trick is that a lot of times you can't.
It looks like that to me. I'm sitting here looking at it. It looks like a UPS thing.
Yeah, so this UPS one, and you'll note down there, it says clicking on your tracking number, and your device is immediately infected with malware.
Meanwhile, it looks like Wells Fargo, looks like Bank of America, looks like PayPal.
These are foolproof, right?
Yeah.
Now, there are methods that you can use to check them out, but just looking at these, there's no reason to suspect that they're fake.
I think the important thing is that people have a tendency to think, oh, I can spot a fake. And the answer is no, you can't. They're exactly perfect copies. The only defense you have is to ask yourself at the moment you're about to reveal any kind of sensitive information, did they contact me or did I contact them?
Right.
And even then you can't be 100% sure because oftentimes people use numbers that are very, very close to the actual numbers, misspellings on traditional websites and so on.
In most cases, you can't actually spot a fake if you're not looking for it.
That's the number one thing, is be on guard at all times.
Yeah, any email you get, any text you get, even if it looks like it's coming from someone you have trusted and had a relationship with for decades in some cases. Like, for instance, this one is a mock-up of an Amazon.com phishing attempt.
And it uses some variation of the original. It's not Amazon.com, it's generic openings.
It says Dear Client instead of Dear Brian.
But even then, if it said Dear Brian, that wouldn't make it any safer. They're
really
reaching you, you're not reaching them.
Exactly. That's really not the best example, but it is a marker, and all of these add up to fraud.
Here's an important point. Always hover over links before you actually click them to make sure they're going where it looks like they're going.
Exactly. If you just take your mouse and hover over it, the actual information will pop up.
So
rather than
how
what
much
you're
can
seeing.
you rely on the HTTPS? Because we've had a number of fans in the comments point out that HTTPS by itself doesn't really save you from anything because it could be a bad actor on their end. And you're right. If they're a bad actor, if it's a phishing scam, HTTPS is not going to save you.
It's another thing that you look for all of these different signs. There's probably not going to be one big red flag, but there's going to be a lot of little things. Even like in the Nigerian email scam, you're going to find misspellings and things like that. So you just got to keep your eyes open, and if you start getting a bad feeling about something, you just always reset and say, great, thank you, I'm going to contact you and take care of
Always be the one who initiates contact with anything sensitive.
Hang up the phone and then dial the number that you know you have for your bank, or send the email that you know you have for this particular provider of any given service.
Right.
Go through the channels that you have always used.
All right, we're not bad guys. But if we were bad guys, what would it look like? What tools would we use to craft a phishing email?
Who's this we? I just want to say you're horrible.
Okay, well,
and I'm
what?
a paragon of virtue.
No, I'm saving people.
There are actually lots of phishing kits available. Some of them for actual like pen testing.
Penetration testing, that's where people hire individuals to try to break in and test their security.
Exactly. Right? Huge market for it,
right.
Obviously. You want to find out if you are bulletproof or not. And so you hire people to find, to poke holes in your organization.
You hire someone to shoot bullets at you. You're like, yes. It turns out I'm not. Bad idea.
And then the pen testers penetrated. That's how they do it.
Hostage down.
Yeah. Lots of different tools available for free on the internet. There's a social engineering toolkit, which is kind of the go-to for pen testers. There's Maltego, which is an open source information, kind of a data miner, where you can find all sorts of stuff. Basically anything on the web associated with a person or an organization.
Wow.
It just scrapes it and does visual
So
graphs.
it does your research for you.
It's incredible and terrifying.
Horrifying, yeah.
Yes. There are also lots of free, easy to use email spoofing tools.
Sounds like we're advertising for the bad guys here.
This is actually a legitimate one. Search for, SPF Guru and go to mail spoofing test.
All right.
Okay, and you gotta click I am the owner.
Yep.
Okay, and go to create. And you're gonna receive a confirmation request to your email address, so go to your email.
So everything at brian@schwood.com forwards to my Gmail account, and I found out there's no easy button for you to press to say, hey Gmail, go check my email and get the latest email that just got in. But if you go to accounts and import, you'll see this right here. This is the only place I've been able to find it, that check mail now button.
Oh yeah.
And then if there's anything in your other email account, it'll grab it and put it in your Gmail.
My work domain account forwards to my email account. And so I'll have to go in there and do that. Okay, so you got an email here, email spoofing requested. So clearly this is not a tool that the bad guys use. Hey, you're about to get tricked.
Right.
So spoofed sender address.
Okay. modernrogueshow@gmail.com.
Okay.
We're gonna pretend to be us talking
Sure.
to us. Subject, new episode.
New episode, and we need your bank account. Doesn't sound suspicious. I think you've got a promising career.
This is the kind of email we would send. Check mail now.
Yeah.
So now it's gonna go to brian@schwood.com, grab that new email. And, nope. There's a text, I got a text. Yeah, dude, it's not sending it. Either that or Gmail's filters are too good.
I don't understand. That was working just fine. You wanna try another one?
Yeah.
Okay, there are lots of little tools out there. A lot of them you can download, but this one is just a website and it's really easy to use, anonymailer.net.
All right, from Dress Pants Robot Man.
He always sends some really weird stuff.
To.
Hey, you just made up an email for Dress Pants Robot Man.
Right, okay, there you go.
Typical.
There you go.
Butts and butts and butts.
Classic Dress Pants Robot Man. Boom. Oh, I just got an email from Dress Pants Robot Man. What?
I didn't even know he had internet.
Soon. That's what it should say.
It just said soon.
So this is interesting. First of all, it went to spam, and second of all, Gmail says it may not have been sent by that person.
Okay.
So it seems like there's pretty good protections baked in.
And there's an option there that says report phishing.
Yeah.
And this is clearly a proof of concept, but imagine if you used all of the assets from a legitimate sender.
You would not be able to tell. People often think, this is the mistake they make in magic, is they think, well, I'm smart, therefore I can't be fooled. And the smartest people are the ones who are like, I can always be fooled by everything, so I'm constantly gonna be questioning everything.
Exactly.
So the most important thing is always be the one in charge of the conversation. Make sure if you're handling any kind of sensitive information, you're the one who initiated the call and that you called the right number, that you're talking to the right person.
Yeah, and be really careful on what you click on.
But I think the important takeaway is always open any email that claims to be from the Modern Rogue.
Yep, just like LastPass.com says.
Hey!
Trust the Modern Rogue.
Hey! Henry Winkler shows up. He's just like, what's going on, guys? I heard you doing my bit. I did magic for Henry Winkler once in his kitchen.
Were you invited? He's in his robe, getting up in the middle of the night.
And he was super nice. He's like, well, hello. Can I help
Hi.
you? Someone's like, Living in America.